just the whole thing of wanting to get better but not really trying. People say it all the time with so many things in life. Oh, I want to start exercising, and they like get their gym membership and go like once a month. You know what I mean? And they have tons of free time. They're like, oh, I just never have time. Like people do it all the time for multiple things, not just for fighting games. That's why I'm very honest whenever people ask me, hey man, like, dude, okay, so you're playing this game with me, right? But like, you could be doing this better or this better. I'm like, I just play this game strictly for fun. Like, I'm very used to low poke pressure, right? Like poke in to take your turn, right? NRS style. So Caliber kind of suits that a little bit because 2B and 2A, those are both moves that if you hit them, like on hit, you have plus frames, almost always, like with every character, right? It's very common. 2K is a different story. You use that, you lose your turn, right? So when we take that out of the equation, then it's very similar to a game like Mortal Kombat, Justice, or even like Tekken to a degree, right? So that works very well with Caliber as well. And I think that's probably where the start of it came from for me, and I know that. So whenever I play games like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear or Killer Instinct, where when you use a low poke, if you don't cancel into something, you lose your turn, it's very fucking good. Like I'll like 2P someone in Guilty Gear and then they mash like a 2D or a 2K and they take their turn back and they counter hit and kill me, and I'm like, well, that's not fun. Like, I don't like this. And like, well, you know, you just have to cancel this one. Like, no. I don't give a shit about all that. I just don't like the way that that's designed. It's fine. It's no problem. I'm just gonna keep playing the game the way I want to play. I'm not trying to get better, but I at least am honest about it. Some people are not honest. They're very disingenuous and they say that they want to get better. And when you show them shit to get better, they just get mad and they stop playing, right? They're just like, well, that's not fun. You know, I want to have fun. You know, when you're trying to get better, you can't always have fun is the problem. When you're trying to get better, most of the time, you're fucking losing. Holy crap, this connection is really bad. Most of the time when you're trying to get better, you're gonna lose a lot, right? Like losing is how you learn. I think I had a talk about this a really long time ago on my stream. I think it was called Losing is Learning. And the reason for that is just because like, to learn more, you have to adjust your style. Unless you're already a god, right? You have to adjust what you're doing to learn. And when you do that, for the most part, you're giving up okay, that was late. You're either giving up previous knowledge that you used to have, or you're writing over. You're overwriting knowledge that you currently have with the game, right? So if me mashing on 6-6A from this range is getting me killed a lot, then I have to stop doing it. Now, instead of autopiloting to it, I have to figure out something else to do there, right? So, I mean, normally it's just step block, which is a good option, but I don't know that yet. I'm new, right? So I don't know that step block is good. I just want to use a big windy button to get in. And this one, if I hold it, it's safe, right? So I have this little clutch. There's this little crutch that I rely on too much as a new player, and I need to stop. Not me personally, just in general. So, like now, instead of doing that, I have to do something that might get me killed a few times because I'm not used to it, but in the long run, it'll teach me something new about the game. And with that knowledge, I can win more games and learn more things. But from the get-go, you're gonna lose a lot. That's just how learning works. That's why they say learn by trial and error, you know. Practice makes perfect. That's where all these things come from. Because as you're getting better at something, you're gonna fuck up. That's just how it works. Like you don't put some brownies in the oven your first time baking and they come out godlike. You know what I mean? They're gonna suck maybe the first 2 or 3 times. Like yeah, maybe you don't overcook them, but maybe you didn't put enough butter, or maybe you didn't put holy shit. Maybe you didn't put enough milk, so they're too dry. Or this guy is actually fucking me up. Kind of annoying. Hold on. Oh, not anymore. He's not. Yeah, maybe you didn't put enough butter, you didn't put enough milk, so they're too dry, or you didn't completely follow the recipe because you wanted to diverge and do something different. Holy shit, where did her helmet go? I'm just gonna sidestep. Boop, boop, I'm dead. It's a 1 bar, to be fair. If I were to move my camera, you guys would see that it's a 1 bar. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. Oh god, you guys saw that? Same thing with like practicing your 3-points, right? So say you're playing basketball with your homies, right? Fucking Shaquille O'Neal is one of the worst 3-point shooters in the NBA, and he's still a Hall of Famer, right? So he practiced everything else so much that he's bad at 3-pointing, but because he's bad at that and good at so many other things, he can still be good. So like just playing to your strengths doesn't mean that you're gonna suck. It just means that you have to adjust your play style and figure out what's good to your strengths. Please stop. Whew, scary. Damn, this 1 bar was kicking my ass. It's true. It's honestly, it's like the one thing that people hate to admit. Oh, they're from like Africa. Jesus. It's like the one thing that people hate to admit whenever it comes to getting better is whenever people say they want to play the game or be able to play the game or they're not playing the game, right? What they mean is, oh, I'm not winning, right? And if you get that mentality into your head, the worst thing that happens to you is when you start playing the game or winning, you feel as if you're learning, but you're sometimes you are, right? You're gonna be that ranked monster who, when you play ranked and you're pretty decent at the game, you're gonna beat people up who are also just ranked monsters because you've just gotten better. You've learned flowcharts. You've never labbed, but you learn like the basics of your character, and that carries you pretty far with like a basic understanding of the game, maybe, right? But then when you put punishes on top of that, I don't want to read this yet. When you put punishes on top of that and frame data and like mashup knowledge, it gets a little more murky. The waters get a little more difficult. And when that happens, you start to lose more because you're rewriting everything you know about the game. And when you start losing more, if you're one of those people who says you want to learn or you want to get better, but you're very bad at trying it, you start losing and you say, fuck it. The other thing was kind of working. Let me just do that because that's working better for me. Right? Oh yeah, maybe the brownies were a little bit dry, but hey, they were good. They were pretty good. They were dry, but they're dry. They were a little good. I'm gonna keep making these brownies. I can't hit a fucking 3-pointer to save my life, right? But dude, my 2-point shots are fucking sick. I got fucking layups for days, you know? Like, so instead of practicing that thing, some people fall back on what they're better on. And I mean, sometimes it makes for good habits, sometimes it makes for bad. But if you do it right and you're playing to your strengths, it's fine. If you're doing it wrong and you're, just getting frustrated and losing to everyone, it's because there's still so much more that you need to pile on top of the knowledge you already have. That was like an accidental stream talk. Holy shit, I haven't done one of those in a while. They're usually planned. Nice.
Challenge your limits.
I used to be like that, but then I realized I wasn't getting anywhere, so I stopped being a little bitch. Yeah, that's exactly the point, right? But some people don't care to do that. Some people are totally fine with staying in their little niche because they're like, well, I'm not gonna run into that many players better than me, right? I'm like still better than most of the players I run into. And then you run into a few players who just whoop your fucking ass and make you feel like you're bad at the game. It happens, right? And it's something that some people just are totally fine with dealing with. Me, I wasn't. That's why I learned as much as I could. That's why I moved to PC, to play the better players. And that's why I'm here on Xbox, so that I can play against all facets of players. Holy shit. This is really bad. This is a 2-bar. What happened to prioritizing 3-bar plus? It's a weird complex. It's a complex that a lot of people who only play online and have never watched the tournament or played in tournaments have. Or that have watched tournaments but have never been to one, so they think that their sick online gameplay is just as good as the pros. They'll be like, oh, well, I can beat these pros. Look how sick I am. Like, oh, dude, my rank is so high online, So they get in that mindset and they think that they're really... What that whiff? What the... I mean, it's fine, but that was a weird whiff. They get in that mindset or they get in that complex that with their anecdotal gameplay that they've seen, that they can, beat up pros, or that they can be just as good as the pros. And sometimes you can. Like, there are some people who went to PC, like myself, who definitely did good against the pros, and there are other people who do not. And they flip just their good gameplay and they send it off to the races to show how good they are, which is a really dumb thing to do. But I can't tell people what to do. Thank you for leaving. Appreciate you. And if you're watching that little topic on the YouTube, thanks for watching. Anecdotal evidence is bad for getting better at fighting games. It's bad at getting better at any skill. You should remember to properly learn, right? Take the time to figure out what's wrong in your gameplay or what's wrong in whatever activity you were doing and make the most of adapting to the situations and get better, right? So what's the point in playing if you're not playing to... I guess playing to have fun's not bad, right? But if you tell yourself that you want to get better, don't fall back on those bad habits that are getting you killed or that are keeping you in a rut. Beanie Thuggish, signing out.